Spaten Oktoberfestbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Band, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I think this is going to be the final Oktoberfest beer review because let's face it, I've kicked the fucking Harris out of it, haven't I? But this is from the Spaten-Franziskaner-Bräu, which is based, would you believe, in Munich. And they are one of the supposed Big Six breweries. What they mean by Big Six, I do not know. I'm assuming they mean that they are big when it comes to the Oktoberfest, but they're also quite big in size as well. Spaten-Franziskaner-Bräu also incorporate Löwenbräu as well. And as you may or may not know, who owns them? AB InBev. So that's probably why you're seeing a lot of Franziskaner. Certainly down here, I know you can buy Franziskaner wheat beer, the normal Weiss beer. You can't get the Dunkel or the Picantus around here. That's quite hard to get hold of. But they do have the Weiss beer in almost all the supermarkets that I can think of. And as wheat beers go, it's not the best, but it's okay. If I had a choice, if I was in Germany, I wouldn't really choose Franziskaner as my go-to wheat beer. There's obviously better wheat beers out there. Certainly Schneider Weiss, well, would you say everyone? Well, maybe not everyone, but certainly all the other Munich breweries do better wheat beer than Franziskaner. It's not a bad wheat beer. It sounds like I'm knocking it. I do find it quite sweet compared to other wheat beers. There's not much hop character in it, but as wheat beers go, it ain't bad. It certainly ain't the worst wheat beer in the world. But the Sparten lager is actually quite nice, believe it or not. They did have a bit of a run of it down in Aldi a couple of months ago, maybe even this month as well. It was this month actually, because they were doing the Paulaner Oktoberfest beer and they were doing Sparten as well. And I bought a fair amount of Sparten. Now Sparten, the Helles, is quite nice. I will give it that. It's very drinkable. The flavour, there ain't much character to the flavour, to be honest, but it's quite a good palate cleanser. Certainly in the summer, it's a great beer, quite full-bodied, and yeah, not bad at all. So I haven't really got a downer on Sparten. They can produce reasonably good ales. I would say out of all the Munich brewers, they were probably the weakest in my opinion. Now, if you want to include Löwenbräu on that, well, they're brewed in the same brewery and they're owned by the same company, AB InBev. So yeah, you're sort of thinking, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, when AB InBev get their claws onto a brewery, and in fact, doing my research, and I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos as well, but in I think it was 2021, they were looking to offload Franziskaner Sparten or Spaten-Franziskaner-Bräu from their portfolio of breweries. I don't know why, but it looks like they're trying to offload all of their German breweries. But as you may or may not know, their biggest concern in Germany, in fact, isn't Sparten. It's the up north in Bremen. It's Beck's. They are their biggest German concern. That's probably why you can get it over here as well. Now, AB InBev, as you may or may not know, have got very good distribution routes into Europe and the world. So you could probably get Sparten. I mean, if you want to go back to the history of Sparten, they've been going since 1387, and Franziskaner was a beer that they started brewing in the 1930s. And I've mentioned this in the other Franziskaner reviews, but the label was designed by a very prominent German artist who was around at the time of the Nazis and used to design all their propaganda posters. All the military recruiting posters were designed by him, and there's quite a few famous Waffen-SS posters that were designed by him. So yeah, bit of a murky past. So every time you see a a bottle of Franziskaner and you see that monk on the front, the fella who designed it, he was helping the Nazis. The dirty traitor. Anyway, Sparten. It's got quite a nice label on there. I'm just looking at that. It looks like they've aged it. And yeah, that's a nice touch that they've got on there. Sparten, in case you're wondering, is not pronounced Spaten, as the little Welsh fella calls it. It's Sparten. And it means shovel or spade in German. And that depiction on the front is supposedly a malt shovel. And that's been their logo for donkey's years. Well, they've been going since 1387, but I doubt that was their logo from that time. Now, unfortunately, their website is rather shit. It doesn't really give you much information on the beer. However, this was first sold in the 1872 Oktoberfest, and it's been, well, not this stuff, it was the Märzen, the Märzen, which was basically it translates to the original Märzen that they brewed. And in 1909, they started exporting their beer to the United States. I'm not sure how that worked out during the two world wars. I imagine they would have had to try and stop. I know there was a trade embargo on Germany in the Second World War. And it's quite ironic, actually. You can see photographs of before the Americans came into World War II. That American ships were refueling German U-boats in the Atlantic. So yeah, and these were German sympathetic companies that were oil companies that were refueling German U-boats. Yeah, well done, America. Go America. And I often see the Americans say if it wasn't for them, they would be, we would be talking German. Well, America, if it wasn't for the Brits, you wouldn't even exist. So shut your mouths. I'm only joking. I love the Yanks. Been over there 3 times. Quite liked it. Anyway, let's dig ourselves out of this cul-de-sac that I've just dug myself into, and let's investigate the beer. Right, this is a half litre bottle of 500ml. It is 5.9% ABV. There is no brew sheet. AB InBev wouldn't give you that anyway. It's rare that they do. And they'll tell you how much salt is in the beer. Would you believe that for every 500ml, there is 0.02 grams of salt? Why would you put salt in beer? Who knows? Where's that coming from? Maybe the water. Who knows? But that's really all I can give you. The sell-by date on this is July 2024, and that's about it really. There's the label. Now, I've tried this before. I tried this when I was in Hof in Franconia last month, that was, and I drank it warm, and very nice it was too. So I'm wondering what this is going to be like. So without further ado, let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, let's get a cap off of here. There is the cap. It's just got a picture of that malt shovel on there. Put that down there. Get a little bit into the glass. Now, something that I have noticed on these beers, and I've sort of resigned myself to thinking this is a kind of trait with Oktoberfest beers. Never noticed this before. I'm getting quite strong aromas here. Wow, lots of lemon citrus. That's the first thing that hits me, is lemon citrus. But one thing I am noticing, and you can see it in this one as well. Now, this is a light coloured Oktoberfest beer, which seems to be very popular, more so than the Märzen. Thankfully, Hacker-Shore do and Hohentanner do 2 fantastic Märzens. But can you see the carbonation in that? It's very, very light. And that is something that I have noticed in all the Oktoberfest, well, certainly the majority of Oktoberfest beers that I have tried. Let's dive in on the nose. First thing that hits me, 2 prominent aromas in this is lemon citrus is big, but there's also quite a bit of earthy note on that too. And they're 2 quite common traits of the Hallertauer tradition, or Hallertauer select hops, whatever you want to call it. Basically a descendant of the Hallertauer Mittelfrüh hop. But there's also a fair amount of earth on that as well. which again is another characteristic of that. The bittering hops, as I say, it's just a complete gamble. I'm not even going to speculate. It could be anything. It could be the Hercules hop. It could be Magnum. Who knows what they've put in here? But there's not really much of a grainy smell unless you really concentrate, and it's just about there. There is a little bit of a sweet honey type note. Oh, hang on, there's a little bit more of the grain coming out now. Yeah, and it's quite a pleasant malty smell. So yeah, this is more about the hops than anything else on the aroma. What's it like on the palate? Let's find out. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. And it ain't bad. That's quite nice. Yeah. Oh, on the finish. It's a nice finish on that as well. Yeah. So that lemon citrus is quite prominent in that beer, and it's quite nice. However, there's some nice hay and grass notes on that too. There's also a fair amount of earthy notes on there, and the finish is just all of that liquid bread, and altogether it makes for quite a nice beer. Nice and full bodied, but smooth. The carbonation again is really light, and that was a little bit disturbing at first. I must admit I do like a little bit more carbonation. However, this seems to be in keeping with the style. Augustina done it, Löwenbräu done it, this lot are doing it as well, and some of the other ones out of that little Oktoberfest beer, and I promise this will be the last time you see it. But can I point out which ones were quite smooth? Well, that Erlbecker was a very nice one indeed. The Pickelsteiner for me was absolutely outstanding. That was a great beer. The Hoventanner for me was the pick of the pack. But all of these beers, all these light coloured beers, even the Hofbräu Oktoberfest beer, that was very smooth as well, as were some of these as well, the Tiesenacker and the Wildbräu as well, the Kurter beer from Wildbräu. That all had very smooth carbonation, and it's something I've learned this year, is that it seems to be the trend now where the carbonation is very light. And it does make it drinkable, I will say that, and makes it very smooth as well. This is actually quite flavoursome, and it's surprisingly good. Now, for something that's come out of the loins of AB InBev, I'm suitably impressed with this, and I'd say it's on a par with the Hofbräu, because there's a fair amount of hop character on here, and it's really nice. Yeah, nice big noble hop character. A little bit of spice on there, not too much. This is more about the earthy notes and the herbal, and slightly floral. The floral notes are very subtle, but they are there. But there's also that big seam of lemon citrus running through it as well. And I have to say, it is pleasant as Oktoberfest beers go. And yeah, it's on a par with the Hofbräu. I think the Hofbräu has a little bit more of the hop character going on there. The hop flavours are a bit bolder, but this is still good. And you know, if you want to argue flavour or you want to argue drinkability, this is quite nice. I do like this. Yeah, finish is quite long as well, and it's the usual bread, toasted white bread, cream cracker type flavour, and it lingers and it lingers, and it's very nice indeed. And all in all, I have to say that is a sterling effort from Sparten. And yeah, I did know it was owned by AB. I did know they were owned by AB InBev, of course. But for a company that's under their umbrella to produce a beer this good is quite unnerving. Well, not unnerving. It goes to show that even if you're owned by a big conglomerate like AB InBev, and I see that AB InBev want to get rid of them, are they so averse to brewers that produce flavoursome beer that they want to get rid of them? Who knows? I mean, Budweiser is there, and I'm not talking about Budvar, I'm talking about the American Budweiser. That's their flagship beer or flagship brand. And of course, look at the marketing that's spent on Budweiser, and then look at the marketing that's spent on Sparten. Obviously, the Oktoberfest is their big thing. But yeah, they want to get rid, which, I don't know, surprises me. Obviously, there's business reasons for that. And me, as a humble beer reviewer or stroke consumer, will probably never understand that. But hey ho, that's just me. Yeah, really nice. I do like that. That's a good one. No complaints whatsoever. So what is the verdict on Spaten Oktoberfestbier? Yeah, it's good. I knew it was good because I tried this warm and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. However, when you really sit down and analyse the flavours, you really do get to know that this really has got some good things going for it. There's a lot of that noble hop character. And I must say, reviewing all these Oktoberfest beers, if you want to really get an idea of what noble hops or what they do to a German beer, then I would say the Oktoberfest beers, some of them anyway, are really good examples of that. I would say the Augustiner, certainly this as well, the Hofbräu too. 3 fantastic beers that have got that German noble hop character in abundance, and it's really nice. I'm really hoping next year that Lidl do something else like that Oktoberfest beer pack. I'm really hoping that because it was so successful this year, that they do something again next year, because that was great. And you know, the Paulaner stuff that was available too, that was nice as well. Out of all of them, what would I say was the best? Well, there was some real surprises. The Hohentanner for me was absolutely outstanding. I don't know whether I should be comparing the two. They've all been called Oktoberfest beers, but there's 2 different styles. I'd say this was more of a kind of a Bock style, but the Hacker-Shaw and the Hohentanner that I've tried were more of the Märzen type flavour. Now, Märzen, as you may or may not know, is a darker beer, which seems to be falling out of favour for the Oktoberfest, which is a real shame. And they seem to be going for these lighter colour beers because I suppose Helles is the most popular style in Germany. So I'd imagine that's why they've done that. And that's been a sort of a trend since the sort of early 70s. And that's a shame, because Märzen was, as the name would suggest, brewed in March for the Oktoberfest. And yeah, it seems to have fallen out of favour now, which I don't think it should, because it's a great style of beer. However, it may not be to everybody's taste, but I love it. But this stuff is great, and I would go as far as to say it's on a par and I reviewed the Hofbräu the other day, not too long ago, and I'd say it's on a par with that. Maybe the Hofbräu had a little bit more hop character on there, but this has certainly got it in spades. So I gave the Hofbräu a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 as well, because it really is good. And yeah, regardless of who, you know, AB InBev, who have a huge concern on this company, and who ironically, as I mentioned, want to get rid of it, work that one out. I don't know. I'm certain they must be popular and a viable concern. I'm not sure why AB InBev want to get rid of them. I mean, they must have their reasons, but yeah, it would be interesting to find out. If anybody knows, please let me know. I might actually go and research that now. I should have done that before, really, shouldn't I? But as far as this goes, yeah, I think that's a worthy 9 out of 10. It's great. It's a great beer. I mean, there's no two ways about it. That is a really nice beer. Yeah, nice balance of hop character. Very smooth. Not much carbonation. I would have preferred a little bit more, but it's very smooth. I mean, look at that. You can hardly see any carbonation in that. That is flat as a witch's tit. But it's still nice. Still goes down very nice. And yeah, absolutely no complaints whatsoever. So there you go. And remember, beer is working class champagne.